There is no one more feared in football than Bob Hayes, the man with the flashing smile and flying feet, the man who runs like the restless wind. The phantom receiver who can vanish and reappear in an instant. Coupled with the speed that made pursuit and tackling angles empty phrases, Hayes possessed the elusiveness to guide him out of the danger zone. Meredith takes command with the aid of Olympian Bob Hayes. Leon Donahue, number 62, and Ralph Neely, number 73, clear the field, and it's full throttle thrust for the goal line. The Cowboys hog-tie the Giants. The final score, Dallas 31, New York 2. Moments later, Bob Hayes speeds by defender Dick Lynch. Only Meredith's rifle arm is faster. Hayes takes it in full stride, and 63,000 New Yorkers become believers. Many great track names have sought football fame, but Bob Hayes is a football player who just happens to be the world's fastest living human. The score, the Cowboys 10, the Giants nothing. In the second half, Hayes takes a flat pass and accelerates downfield. In the year of the rookie in the NFL, Hayes' star was one of the brightest. Meredith finds Hayes open on a slant, and Bob turns on the afterburner. The cunning Cowboys hide Bob Hayes in the line. On this end around, Hayes shows that speed and moves equal 6 points. The success that the Cowboys experienced in 1965 featured the development of fine rookies. For example, Ralph Neely. When he teams with Bob Hayes, they look like old pros, but it takes practice. Coach Landry knows.
First time we tried that play, he outran his blockers and got tackled. This time he used the blockers and we get a touchdown.
Now Craig Morton, a rookie from California, is in the ball game. He's 6 foot 6 inches tall. Here's the fake. He's going to throw. He's going for Bob Hayes. Hayes on the post pattern, juggles the ball and still has it. Hayes will score easy and jog in. A 49-yard touchdown play. Craig Morton to Bob Hayes. Bring up 3rd and 27 now. Dallas back on their 18, and that's a shotgun formation. Rome throwing, and it's knocked by Irv Cross, and Bob Hayes has the ball. Bob Hayes down to the 40, down to the 30. He's going to go all the way. Deflected aerial. Rome threw the ball. Irv Cross almost intercepted, and Bob Hayes scores. Joe Kuharich now seeing his team go behind 17-14.
2nd and 7. Don Meredith looking for Bobby Hayes. He has him. What's this play? He is in there for a touchdown. Dallas 24, Pittsburgh 17. Less than 2 minutes remaining.
The line was quick. Giant tackles like Ralph Neely, number 73, could sail downfield and obliterate enemy obstacles.
Now on first down, Morton to Hayes. And Bobby Hayes gets a good block and turns in a fine run. He's in there for a touchdown. As we repeat that from the end zone camera, watch number 73, Ralph Neely, throw a key block right here, taking play out of the play. And the Cowboys have the lead, 17-10.
The second big offensive play was by Bob Hayes, who beat Pat Fisher to the goal line and the ball.
First and 10 on the 25. And Don Meredith throwing deep to Bobby Hayes. He's in there for a touchdown. We'll take a look at that play again from the end zone angle, and you can see that Bobby Hayes has a step on Pat Fisher, and a step is all this speedster needs. Cowboys 14, the Cardinals 10.
It's 2nd and 4 on the Dallas 26. Meredith calls an audible at the line of scrimmage. Bob Hayes has half a step on Clarence Childs, and that's all he needs. 74 yards and a touchdown for Bullet Bob Hayes. This is football Texas style. On third down with 5 yards to go on the New York 39, Don Meredith calls on his number 1 receiver, Bob Hayes. Bob has gotten behind Childs on a streak pattern. Meredith's perfect throw floats over Childs' head and into the adhesive grasp of Hayes for a score. Dallas trailing 10-0 now, moving well deep into Minnesota territory. And Meredith down the middle. There's Bob Hayes, and it's a Dallas touchdown. 37 yards. Villanueva's kick is good, and this ball game tightens up. Minnesota 10, Dallas 7. As Bob Hayes gets congratulations on the Dallas bench. And some oxygen.
First and 10, Cowboys on the 49-yard line. Meredith for Bobby Hayes. He has it, and they don't catch Hayes. He's in there for a touchdown. 49-yard touchdown pass. Let's take a look at that play again. Hitting deep to Bobby Hayes. And there he goes. The Cowboys 24, the Falcons 14.
Meredith faking the draw play. Looking for Bob Hayes, the world's fastest human. Hayes on the corner pattern is wide open. Touchdown, Dallas. 24-yard TD pass, Meredith to Bob Hayes. Dallas ball on the Philadelphia 36. Meredith sending Hayes straight up against the Eagle defense, spots him wide open. Number 22, another touchdown. Dallas 21, Philadelphia nothing. The first 3 times Dallas touches the ball, they get touchdowns. Bob Hayes, whose second touchdown of the game, has moved Dallas in front 21-0. Rehashes the play with Don Meredith, the quarterback. Hayes, in his second NFL season, is averaging more than 1 touchdown a game.
Now Don Meredith
Finds Bob Hayes. He goes by Merv Woodson and on toward the goal line, in for the touchdown. A 38-yard play. And we'll look at it again from ground level. Meredith setting up. Woodson is the defender as the pass goes to Hayes. And there's the touchdown. It's Dallas 20 and Pittsburgh 7 in the fourth quarter.
Seven game. Morton. And Bob Hayes is there for a beautiful catch and a Dallas touchdown. With 6 minutes left in the game, Dallas goes in front as Bob Hayes makes a beautiful catch for the go-ahead touchdown.
Saw him miss all or parts of 4 games. When he was healthy, Meredith directed the Cowboy offense with flair and precision. Nothing less than victory and a Capital Division championship for Dallas. Arm. An even more important asset was a quick, alert mind, as both he and Meredith directed the most complex offense in pro football. A more orthodox strategy was the flanker screen, utilizing the Cowboys' superior team speed. The close contest that most predicted was shattered by a blistering Cowboy attack led by Bob Hayes, who scored 3 touchdowns as Dallas rolled up an insurmountable lead. The death knell was only seconds away as Don Meredith and his receivers plotted the game-breaking blow.
Get ready for it. I saw the safety over, but he came back in.
He didn't want to take off for a deep post.
Right. My fault. It was my fault not get the foot. Got it with the field, Melvin.
Hey, Joe.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to confuse you. I'm just saying that they're going to wheel or roll the narrow side of the field, probably. That's what they've done. They've wheeled me every time since that time. That was the wide side.
Okay.
So maybe I'll hit a cheap one. If not, we'll hit the sideline of the wide
All
side.
right, good enough.
Soon, all their hopes and dreams will become a reality. And in one electrifying moment, the Cowboys will have left everyone behind.
On 1st and 10, Meredith crosses up the Browns' defense by throwing to Bob Hayes, who ties the game in one big play as the first quarter ends. Suddenly, lightning struck in the form of Bob Hayes. At first quarter's end, it was 10-7 Giants, and the Cowboys were still hot. It was Hayes again who finished off New York and capped the wild 38-24 Cowboy win.
Meredith lofts a perfect pass. Bob Hayes beats 2 Ram defenders in the corner of the end zone. And the Cowboys are back in contention, 21-13. For Hayes, this was his 4th touchdown reception of the new season.
The combination of Morton to Bob Hayes covered 64 yards, but it wasn't enough. By the end of the afternoon, the Eagles had offered their doubting fans some very concrete answers. Stymied by the tenacious Cowboy defense, the Cards punt. Bob Hayes fielded the ball at his own 31, and from there on, only seeing is believing. Dallas 14, St. Louis 7. The Cowboys struck quickly again. A flat pass to the world's fastest human, Bob Hayes, and Hayes flows by his stunned defenders to give the Cowboys a 23-14 halftime lead. Halftime strategy is discussed at the sideline. Split ends like Bob Hayes don't come along very often. This 34-yard touchdown scored the Cowboys' 37th point. Bullet Bob Hayes deserves a breather after his third touchdown.
Number 73, tackle Ralph Neely, neatly guides Roy Hilton out of the play. He gives Meredith enough time to spot the flying torso of Bob Hayes, who beats Rich Volk to a touchdown. On that last TD, number 74, Billy Ray Smith, was finally handled by Leon Donahue. When Hayes cleared his defender, Meredith connected, and it was a game again. Colts 10, Cowboys 7.
Throw an odd formation in that we'd run another play from, primarily with Bob Hayes out to the side, but our overall team, we felt we were faster.
That speed was showcased in the conference playoffs, with Bob Hayes gaining 285 total yards as the Cowboys annihilated the Browns.
That game we were ready.
As he completed 14 of his first 17 passes and gave the Cowboys a huge 31-6 halftime lead. Next week, they played an uninspired game against the New Orleans Saints and were lucky to escape with a victory. Quarterback Don Meredith and the Cowboy offense showcased the NFL's highest scoring machine, and Bob Hayes treated Dallas fans to a dazzling display of flat-out speed. The Cowboys not only won their 11th game of the year, but more importantly, wrapped up the Capital Division title. Only one game remained. It was with the Giants in New York, with nothing at stake but revenge. Although he is very fast, Lance Rensel is not often called on to catch the bomb, because that is what the Cowboys have Bob Hayes for. Pro football has not eroded his Olympic speed. In fact, Hayes claims that every year he gets even faster. Hayes is the leader of football's jet set, and just about everything he catches turns into points. Hayes led the Cowboys with 12 touchdowns and led the NFL in punt returns. He personified the Dallas offense in 1968. Sophisticated, varied, and quick striking. the offense had the ability to score points in clusters from anywhere on the field. In the playoff bowl in Miami, the Cowboys rebounded from near defeat to triumph over the Minnesota Vikings.
On third down with 11 to go at midfield, Meredith found Bob Hayes in the open, and that means 6 points against any team. Due to a block conversion attempt, Dallas held a slim 7-6 lead as the first quarter ended. And it was touchdown passes to humans who move faster than humans.
It was time for a pass, so Meredith calmly fired a bomb downfield aimed for number 22, Robert Lee Hayes. The result, 6 points. On the replay, Meredith smartly faked what would have been the 8th straight run and hit Hayes on the run for the touchdown and a 7-0 lead.
Don Meredith, although this touchdown pass to Bob Hayes was nullified when Morton ran past the line of scrimmage. However, Morton came back to Hayes again for a touchdown as the Cowboys not only beat the injury-ridden Bears 34-3, but increased their lead over New York to 2 full games. Coach Tom Landry replaced Meredith with Craig Morton, and the fine number 2 man went right to work and right to Bob Hayes. Hayes played in the snow a little before getting back to business. But the Giants could not sustain a drive against the fine Dallas defense, and Bob Hayes added another touchdown. He continues to be the leader of the league in punt returns, this one for 63 yards.
After a 4 weeks absence, Bob Hayes returned to the lineup, and the rebuilt Dallas offense was finally intact and fully explosive. Dallas rebounded from their first defeat by trouncing New Orleans.
For over 400 yards in total offense, and he threw for 2 scores, including this one to number 22, Bob Hayes.
But the division title-bound Cowboys were just not that easy. They quickly regained a lead and made life miserable for John shortly thereafter.
The offense cranked up rainbows that exploded into touchdowns. The symbol of triumph for the Dallas offense was a Bob Hayes touchdown and a field strewn with tacklers left in his wake. But too often in 1970, the symbol had soured. It was a day for the offense, which scored 52 points. But most of all, it was a title for a team that was pronounced dead in November. It was a day that ended the most rewarding regular season in the Cowboys' 11-year history.
From Lance Rensel to Bob Hayes, that traveled 56 yards to a touchdown. The usually unemotional Cowboys, inspired by the Mod Rensel and driven by Staubach, scored a final time when Jolly Roger speared Bob Hayes with a bullet, as the Dallas Cowboys' 4 touchdowns in the second half buried New York 28-10. Blitz and lobbed a pass to Bob Hayes. It was an 89-yard foot race between Hayes and the Chiefs' fastest man, Emmett Thomas. It was a mismatch. It's 38. Having set up the defense, Morton now went for it all and got it. Bob Hayes had Parker beat, and the Cowboys were back in front. On a repeat of the score, Morton sent both backs out, and his protection was the key. It held up well, and he easily found Hayes, who made a nice knee-high grab. The Cowboys had restored their big play offense to regain the lead 10-3 as the first quarter ended. We'll be right back with more exciting action on the NFL Game of the Week. Momentum of the game then took a sudden turn, and it was another big play from the Cowboys that did it. Morton again went for Hayes deep. Defender Willie Williams just nicked it. Hayes made the bobbling catch, and the world's second fastest human had given the Cowboys a 17-6 lead. Dallas used 3 Mike Clark field goals and a well-disguised end-around by Hayes to storm by Green Bay 16-3 and keep in contention with the division-leading St. Louis Cardinals. Bob Hayes created the most excitement when he went on a weaving 70-yard odyssey with a Mike Bragg punt. Unfortunately for Hayes, a penalty canceled his flirtation with the spectacular. With Dallas fans demanding blood, quarterback Craig Morton, their sometimes hero, sometimes villain, laid open a gaping wound in the Oiler defense with a 38-yard scoring strike to Bob Hayes. Another angle illustrates the reason for the play's success. Operating behind flawless protection, Morton combined with Hayes on a deep crossing pattern that beat both Hayes' primary defender, Leroy Mitchell, number 41, and his deep help, safety Ken Houston, number 29. For Bob Hayes, his touchdown signature would be repeated 3 more times today. Cowboys gained a 4-touchdown advantage when Morton connected with Hayes for a 3rd time. Once again, Morton's protection was perfect. Once again, Hayes left Oiler defenders clutching only air as he evaporated into the end zone. Within a minute and a half of their last connection, Morton and Hayes did it again for the 4th time. This time, Hayes was alone at the sideline as he revved up and motored for a 59-yard touchdown run. The play is worth repeating because Morton's beautiful fake to number 35, Calvin Hill, occupied 2 Houston linebackers and allowed Hayes to finish his best day ever with 4 touchdowns and 179 yards on 6 receptions. Dallas 38, Houston 3.
For Dallas, an offense, number 22, wide receiver Bobby Hayes, a one-time world's fastest human who's the Cowboys' leading pass catcher.
Their path to a championship began in Buffalo. While the defense faltered, the many-splendored Cowboy offense exploded for 7 touchdowns that blitzed the Bills, 49-37. The New York Giants. Dallas mustered a convincing 44-21 victory, and their clumsy trip to Super Bowl VI was rerouted again. Roger Staubach twice unleashed a tried-and-true Cowboy tradition, the bomb to Bob Hayes. After the 42-14 romp over New York, for running under the rainbows, there was Bob Hayes. Total concentration, sure touch, and sprinter speed has made Hayes a finished receiver. The Cowboy offense, pro football's pinball machine, lighting up scoreboards for 406 points in 1971. Thomas's touchdown, 2 Mike Clark field goals, and Staubach's scoring strike to Hayes in the clutch gave Dallas 20 big points.
Score when quarterback Craig Morton's deft play-action fake froze the Bills' secondary, and Bob Hayes galloped unmolested to a 76-yard score. Dallas' doomsday defense has always depended on their...
And you saw the penalty against the Giants, 5 yards. Down remains the same. 1st and 5. Cowboys now inside Giant territory at the Giants' 49-yard line. Lance Alwyn, motion left. Martin looking deep for Bob Hayes. And that's why they pass.
That's one reason why you want to put them in the air every now and then.
That's right, but only after you've laid the foundation.
Absolutely right, Howard. That was a great throw.
Between Athos and Joe Green, the completion. Right on target. Bob Hayes. He is really something special.
It really is good to have somebody like that on your side, man, because he can really get open. Here it is again. Craig sets back, throws. And Bobby, it's just, there's not anybody really can keep up with him. It's not a discredit to anybody over on defense. You get him man-to-man. He's caught 4 passes tonight for an even 100 yards. But it sure is good to have him on your side. Working on his master's degree. May have got it last year, in fact. And there's Turkey Lurkey himself. Rapid Robert.
And NFL Monday Night Football, the New York Giants versus the Dallas Cowboys, continues from the Cotton Bowl with the score. The Cowboys 20, the Giants 6.
Through a perfect pass to Bob Hayes, who had beaten the cornerback, and Dallas had their touchdown. Hayes pulled a muscle on the play. However, the Cowboys were back in the ball game 17-14 with 13 minutes to go.
A taste of running, a touch of defense, spiced with Bob Hayes, blended nicely into a homemade treat for Dallas fans. Hayes' first touchdown was a tribute to his speed. His second showcased his surprisingly soft hands and turned the game into a laugher for the Cowboys. Dallas won the first half 34-7, but the second half was dominated by Jim Plunkett and the splendor of his mighty right arm. One of his finest days. Roger the Dodger, the NFC's leading passer, evidently didn't appreciate his New York welcome as he bombed the Giants right out of Yankee Stadium. Twice, Staubach found swift Bob Hayes, number 22, for long-range touchdowns. The first connection was good for a 46-yard score. And on the second, Staubach launched a rocket to Hayes for 80 yards, the longest touchdown pass of the year in the NFC. Staubach has been the #1 quarterback since the start of...
Tried and true Bob Hayes as Dallas edged Chicago 20-17. Back home at Texas Stadium, they gained revenge and their third straight victory as they beat Philadelphia 31-10.
Given that break, Dallas decimated the Eagles. On a delay pattern, Staubach hit Bob Hayes streaking against the grain. At the goal line, rookie safety Randy Logan met Hayes one-on-one and lost. Trailing 21-10, John Reed stood in, connected with Bob Hayes, who last season failed to catch a single touchdown pass. Roger Staubach caught bullet Bob Hayes on the fly. Dallas built a 17-0 first quarter bulge. Until the final minute that the Cowboys crossed the goal line on a Staubach to Bob Hayes girder scraper, which narrowly avoided a shutout.